In 1892, a site was selected in Colfax that would become the first hospital to serve Whitman County.
A local priest from Uniontown went down to Portland and talked to the Sisters of Charity there and said that these towns up on the Palouse needed a hospital. And then they started building this, laying the cornerstone in 1893 and completing the building in 1894.
The hospital facility grew over the next 7 decades, eventually adding flanking extensions and a makeover that effectively erased its late Victorian roots, leaving the building with a more classical, symmetrical appearance as seen today.
It is nice to stand here right now and see that that old Victorian stuff is still there. But then it's been given a unity in 1917 when they rebuilt it in a modern style. The architectural structure is fantastic.
In 1964, rather than invest in expensive upgrades to the historic structure, the hospital board opted to relocate their operation, leaving St. Ignatius to serve as an assisted care facility. The last residents moved out in 2000, and since that time the building has been left largely unsecured and open to the elements.
There's a lot of asbestos, a lot of mold, there's a lot of water damage. The roof on the whole western half of this facility is actually starting to blow off, so significant concerns there. Ultimately, what we would like to see happen is where this is preserved, it's a fantastic facility. It definitely is one of the top priorities to get this thing rehabbed.
It is quite an icon, quite a symbol. Most people in the area that were born before 1964 were born in this hospital. This seems like a marvelous building that could be preserved and could be used in a creative and a productive way to actually benefit the town and the community, which hospital was built for in the first place to do that.
Built in 1911, the Longfellow Building has a 100-year legacy, serving as a school and as offices for the Everett School District.
When Longfellow was built in 1911, it served for 60 years, closing in 1971, and then went on as administration offices, and it's a solid building. And I think that there's certainly ways that that building could continue to serve this community.
Presently used for storage, the school district conducted a survey regarding future use of the site. Survey results indicate widespread support for rehabilitation of the Longfellow School.
The 3 options from the survey were sale, lease, or demolish. And the results of the survey, the community said, we want to see this school repurposed.
In January, the school district solicited proposals for reuse, but determined the one response received was not viable. Parking is a priority for the district, so advocates fear that rehabilitation efforts will be trumped by the school district's stated need for parking.
As a member of the Historic Everett Board and also of the Everett Historical Commission, both of these organizations have gone on record as supporting saving Longfellow School.
I do believe the school district is our community, and they definitely have a huge role in creating something to look back at in the community. It's important that it stays. We don't want to see a parking lot.
Created in 1979, Robert Morris Earthwork is a 4-acre sculpture and public artwork that has been featured in numerous books, magazines, and publications.
Robert Morris is an internationally known American artist. He has been at the forefront of many artistic movements, including this notion of land art, environmental art.
The earthwork is one of the first publicly funded art forms of this unique type.
For Culture, King County's Cultural Services Agency has been named as the designated custodial agent and steward of the Robert Morris Earthwork.
To have county government have the foresight to really think differently like this and continue to maintain and manage this, I think is a testament to the value that King County places on public art in general and our public art program.
Current funding provides for daily management of the site, but is insufficient for cleaning up vandalism, restoring the site from erosion, decomposition of natural features, or new interpretive signage.
Part of our challenge is continuing to maintain the sculpture in the way that Robert Morris intended. We also encounter things like ongoing vandalism, illegal dumping at the site. We also have challenges with the encroaching housing development. Robert Morris Earthquake is now literally in someone's backyard. So we are looking at the opportunity to raise awareness, to reach out to partners, and to fundraise.
At King County, I think we recognize there's a tremendous value in investing in arts and heritage. We find that it actually strengthens our economy when you have that kind of quality of life in a community. So we believe it's in our interest to invest in these kinds of properties.
For Culture is organizing a campaign to reach out nationally for funding towards site restoration and interpretation improvements.
Our challenge is to continue to preserve the sculptural form, continue to provide public access to it, but continue to assert its importance in art history as a work of sculpture.
Completed in 1892, the Lincoln School stands as tangible evidence of the community's commitment to education.
They demonstrated with their money how important education was.
A 1936 Public Works Administration project sought to modernize the Lincoln School to resemble the design of the neighboring high school.
It was modernized to the aesthetic of the time, more of an Art Deco look to it.
Although unoccupied, the building remains solid and is currently used for storage. Yet it faces substantial electrical and plumbing issues and requires seismic retrofitting.
We're facing the challenge of how to either repurpose it so it has an appropriate use here on a high school campus or move to demolition. We've gone out to the public and said, here's this building, here's the probable cost to rehabilitate it and use it, and asked for proposals and didn't receive any interest.
I think the community can come together to provide the expertise for the school board to proceed with rehabbing this building.
You have to respect the basic structure of the building, but adapt it to something that makes useful and economic sense now. I think there's a good possibility of residential. It would take somebody with creativity to be able to make it work.
Well, we have a value here in Port Townsend of reusing and repurposing, and this is part of that ethos. I'd be heartbroken to see us have to demolish the building, but we're reaching that point of no return where I'm going to take resources away from classrooms, so it's a dilemma. It's a pretty uncomfortable place to be, really.
Following World War II, nuclear engineering programs proliferated at universities across the country, including the University of Washington. By 1958, the University of Washington granted its first master's degree in the field. Retaining a competitive nuclear engineering program, however, required construction of a research reactor.
The nuclear reactor building was built in 1961 during the height of the atomic age. This design is important. The style is called brutalist or brutalism, which is a very sort of honest type of style of architecture. The building was designed by what was called TAG, and it was a collaboration of architects, artists, and engineering. So they really melded science, art, and architecture in this building.
In the fall of 2014, the university unveiled plans to construct a new computer science and engineering building on the site, which would require demolition of the nuclear reactor building.
With the university wanting to expand their computer science and engineering program, their preferred site is where the nuclear reactor building is. We'd like them to look at a preservation alternative.
Advocates would like to see additional sites more thoroughly studied for construction of the new building. If no other sites can be found, the nuclear reactor building should, at the very least, be incorporated into the new development in a way that respects its unique architecture and historic significance.
We believe it's very significant. It has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It's amazing how this building has spurred on advocacy efforts that have been really creative and artistic. We think that a really creative design team can come up with a solution to somehow incorporate the nuclear reactor building into their project.
Designed by the firm of Heath, Gove, and Bell, the Masonic Center in Des Moines serves as a showcase for masonry in Washington state.
It says it looks like a French chateau, and it certainly does. The architectural beauty of it, both inside and out, is really important, I think, to our community.
When I came on board back in 2004, it was still a functioning senior living community. They were going to completely renovate and restore the whole historic structure, and then they're going to add about 200, I believe, condominium type units, and also some townhomes in the back of the property. It was beautiful what they had planned. Of course, about that time, that's when the financial market crisis happened.
With the project on hold, the facility continued to be used as an event center, available for weddings and other private and community functions. Given the high operating costs, the property was put up for sale in 2013, and event center operations ceased the following year. The Masons have been exemplary stewards, and the building's architectural features and exterior remain in good condition. But many of the building's systems are outdated, and modern code requirements, paired with the need to seismically retrofit the structure, will require substantial investment. At present, the building sits vacant.
The public loves the building. This is the jewel of the city, probably. Personally, I think you've got this beautiful building. You should try to preserve it at all costs.
It's kind of the heart and soul of the community, certainly for me personally. We, of course, would like to see the building saved, not only saved, but restored, and to once again, shine as a place to come, a place that's important, not only to the city of Des Moines and those of us who've lived here for years, but to new residents that come into our community as well.